thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce Mayor May. She is the first female mayor in Fremont, California. Is that not correct?
Yes, that is
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
In our 62 years, I'm very honored to be the first woman and the first minority mayor
Yeah, that's
in
beautiful.
our city's history.
So, go back in time. Was there ever a moment that you wanted to become a mayor, or did you kind of stumble into it?
I don't think there was a moment that said, other than when I ran for the election before that, where I thought for any specific reason I started off in life wanting to be a mayor.
Okay.
I think that different jobs and experiences
Mm-hmm.
and living in the city have given me that perspective or that goal or interest in wanting to serve in that capacity.
Nice. And you have 2 children.
I do.
What are their ages?
My daughter will be turning 21 this summer,
Beautiful.
and my son is just turned 17 in December.
Fantastic.
So-
And they've gone through the whole Fremont
Yes.
system.
That's part of what got me originally involved in
Beautiful.
The government is the need or the concern as a parent, and I think that's what drives a lot of people is the interest of being involved in the community and civic engagement.
Mhm.
And so sometimes when you're going through experiences, for my case, it was my daughter being overloaded from kindergarten.
Yeah.
And so looking at those experiences, then when I went to the meetings, parents were either very emotional, screaming or yelling, and
Uh-huh.
I thought there may be a more positive way, and since I had a business background, I tried using some of those techniques or strategies in terms of working with the school district and fellow parents on trying to address those issues.
Okay. And you went through the PTA system yourself?
Yes, yes. So
That's dedication.
I was really lucky when it comes to examples and role models.
Mhm.
My parents are immigrants from China to Taiwan to Canada and then to Chicago, which is where I was born. And growing up, even though my mother was not as familiar with the educational system, I really appreciated that she took the time to show her interest in me as her child, and then also in the community.
Mhm.
And that even though her English wasn't always the smoothest or easiest, she would always volunteer in the classrooms or help out. So
Yeah.
as my child got older, I was involved in preschool, and I also got involved with PTA. And I strongly encourage parents or fellow colleagues to get involved in that area because looking back, I've looked at so many different parents and children and relationships, and I don't think any person sits there and goes, oh, I wish I had one more meeting, board meeting or anything else. But your kids go by very fast, and I really valued the fact that I was able to get to know my child and their friends, because at the earlier stages of life, they tend to really want you there
Oh, yeah.
still.
Yeah.
And as they get older, they exert more independence, and that's hopefully the thing. That
And
they
that's what we want.
That's what I'd like to see. Like I joke with people, I said, I hope they fly out of the nest and don't fall out of the tree. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we want to give them those types of skills and opportunities. But being involved or caring
Yeah.
shows your kids that you value their education and their friendships and things too.
Mhm. And you're supporting their friends also.
Yes.
That's the key thing too. Some children nowadays, I believe, they don't get a lot of assistance at home. And you showed up not necessarily just for your children, but for the other children.
Well, other activities that I've been involved in and that I really think help give that perspective are things like I'm a lifetime Girl Scout, and I also was a Boy Scout. I was an explorer,
Nice.
and so I've been both. And then I've been a leader in
absolutely.
Den Mom and things. So those types of, whether you're volunteering, you don't have to necessarily be the leader, and that's the one thing I also often tell students. To be a leader or to be involved in the community doesn't mean that you have to be elected. It doesn't mean that you have to be the leader, but being willing to take a role to help be participating in the community. It's easy, and I think that in this role as mayor or in other roles, where people come and often complain about different issues that they see, whether it's traffic, congestion, or other things. But it's more valuable to me, and it's very helpful if we get people involved with not just the problems and calling them to my attention or to the council's attention, but the solutions. And that's where we're very fortunate. We have commissions, we have opportunities where we have open city hall or technology to ask people to get more involved, because I truly feel that in our community we are much stronger when we work together. And so these types of opportunities, right now we're also, tonight we're talking about the mobility task force, and that's city council meetings. Tonight's
Okay.
Tuesday, and so we have 14 members in the community who came together and are helping us develop a mobility plan. And so that's going to be worked on. It's been started last year. It'll be about a year project that we're trying to reach out to community, look at surveys, look at different things such as safety,
Right.
smart signaling, because we're a
Beautiful.
smart city. Fremont also, about a year and a half ago, people might have said we got brighter, but we don't mean just intelligence, but physically, but also brighter as a city, where we switched out all the LED lights for the street lights to LED lights to make it brighter, so better visibility so people could see. And we had actually a slide recently in the state of city that showed before and after and how much brighter and clearer that you can see the traffic or crosswalks. It's something that, that calling to people's attention, and also the cost savings and
It's
being
huge.
environmentally friendly. But then truly a lot of it is also education, because as much as we send lights and as much as we do signaling, I jokingly tell people when you walk into that lighted crosswalk or the flashing crosswalk, we have some that are next to the hospital. It does not create a magic force field. You still have to look left and right, and common sense still prevails. And that's true
Yeah.
for our drivers. And so we actually just also, a week ago in our library, had one of our first traffic safety discussions, and just opened for the public to come and ask questions.
Nice.
We had a presentation from the police. It was 2 different sessions. It was really well received, and we hope to do more again in the future. Every year we also have Kids and Kites Festival, where we do it at the park, where we invite people out, and we have different booths and vendors. We also have every other year a public safety fair, where we have our fire and police, and we encourage people to come out to learn about that. Last year alone, in our emergency preparedness type programs and CERT programs, we had over 2,600 people
Wow.
that went
Good
through
for
that.
you.
And so, in a case of a real emergency, we want to make sure that we're best prepared, because
Makes sense.
as much as we have staff, we only have about 190 to 200, firefighter, police men. When it comes to the situation and so with our firefighters, we have a limited crew that are on site always. And in case of a natural disaster, we're really counting and hoping that our citizens are also prepared and
Right.
understand, because it's almost 235,000 compared to us. We're a little outnumbered.
Yeah.
And so we need people to get involved. And you were saying earlier, like even being involved from the school side. When I was on the school side, and I encourage parents to do that too, is do the emergency earthquake drill.
Okay.
And
At their homes?
At their schools, at their
Okay.
homes.
Mhm.
Actually, coming up this month, on April 18th, we're having an exercise at Lake Elizabeth called Haywired. And it's with the U.S. Geological Survey, where we're doing a drill or a simulation where they're saying what happens if a 7.0 earthquake strike in Berkeley all the way down through Fremont, and what are some of the different processes that can be implemented, and some of the awareness, just to create awareness, because we are coming on to the 150th anniversary of the earthquake, so the big earthquake.
True, true. Excuse me. So, how do we find out about these things that you're having at
Sure.
at a park? Are you talking about like Lake Elizabeth or just anywhere?
Sure.
But how do we, or somebody like myself, find out about this so I could even be a better Fremont citizen?
Well, there's a lot of ways that we try to communicate to the public. We have the newsletter that many of you residents get in the
Okay.
mail, and then also our city website, as well as our
Okay.
social media. We do have many different active ways to reach out to people. From our business side, we have our economic development. There's a website, thinksiliconvalley.com.
Okay.
And also we have Twitter and
Okay.
other ways, social media. For people, we realize that as much as we'd like people to come to our city council meetings, and that's always open for people to participate, we have them generally on the first 3 Tuesdays of the month.
Okay.
And those are at City Hall at 7 o'clock. Sometimes a little earlier, like tonight, this evening, we have a study session on traffic, and coming up on the 18th, I won't get the dates, I'm sorry,
That's okay.
off the top of my head, but we also have a homelessness study session, because we feel that, sometimes some of these topics require a deeper dive into
Mhm.
the discussion, and we want the public to be part of it. These are our meetings that we're holding as a council in the public, with the public as a guest, but it's an opportunity for them to come and share their opinions. Unfortunately, because if it's not agendized items, sometimes people come and speak, and I myself have been there for city council, for school board, and city planning commission. They're looking for answers, but if it's not agendized, we can't just answer and respond, because it needs to be something the public's noticed about.
Okay, makes sense.
But still, it's a great opportunity. And then also, you were talking about events. We also have a lot of social media and events with our fire and our police. We've had, we try to be culturally sensitive. We've had badges and boba, custard with cops, and even cannolis and cops.
Nice.
And so we've had a lot of different activities where we have people come out and talk about some of their concerns that they see with traffic, with crime, because we really want to hear and be able to have this partnership. A lot of the public safety awareness efforts require that. A good example is I'm looking at the video cameras right now, and we're trying to implement technology, and when we've had some incidents with burglaries or other thefts, we ask residents to register their video cameras so that we know that they have one on their sites.
Perfect.
And so those help us then to make good resolution and bring forth solutions to those situations to figure out who hopefully solve the crimes.
Beautiful, thank you. So it kind of sounds like if we could get more people involved and create a deeper community, what would that gift us?
Well, I think that the more people get involved, and a good example is in August every year we do our National Night Out. And last year we had over 120 parties, and
wow.
Simultaneously that evening, and myself
How many
and
did
the
you go
council.
to?
I think I went to 5
Okay.
that evening. But the council, myself, and all of our fire and police and our community volunteers, we hit every single party in Fremont that evening. And again, it was just a chance to get to relax and to enjoy, to meet different folks in the community, our fellow neighbors and residents, to hear about their issues. And a lot of it does translate sometimes into solutions that people may not be aware of. Like 2 years ago, I had heard about an incident or concern with some potholes or location about the danger, and so we had gone out and I looked at it afterwards. My children will jokingly say, not that every time people call me I do this, but I do sometimes drive out at night or in the morning on my own if I hear a report, and just to go check out on things to see the projects. And so therefore I then sent it in because I felt I was concerned about the safety aspect.
Yeah.
But we have also on our website, just in case so people don't get so excited and start writing me all at once.
Whoops.
It helps better if you go to report a concern on our website.
Right.
Not because I, as the mayor, don't want to hear about it, but because when it goes to report a concern, there are about 30 concerns that are already pre-listed, whether it's street lights or traffic safety or other programs. And if you click on it, then it routes to the staff members that are responsible for that role.
Perfect.
And so rather than coming to me and then I have to look at it and send it to the departments, this actually better directs it, facilitates it. Obviously, if they're not hearing back or not, people generally tend to share more of the complaints sometimes than other things. But in the role as the mayor, we have so many positive things too.
Beautiful.
And so I was going to let you know that we are so fortunate as a community to have such diversity.
Yeah, we do.
And so I've been able to participate in interfaith Thanksgiving activities, different cultural events, different religious events, and it makes us more appreciate one another.
Yeah.
And that's something that I haven't always experienced as a child and growing up in Pennsylvania, but here we're very fortunate, and it's kind of a special thing that makes Fremont a unique place to live.
Yeah. Just in listening to you and your words, it seems like you really, really enjoy this.
I do. I think that it's important, whatever role that you're in, wherever you're there, be all there. And you were asking earlier, how did you end up being the mayor, or did you pursue that?
Yeah.
And it wasn't really like a necessary pursuit. I got involved with the schools, the PTAs. As a parent, I got involved with when there was some controversial issues on overloading and border boundary revisits for the schools, and then eventually ran for the school board. I got involved with city council because I also felt that being on the school board, it's important to have succession planning, and I always appreciated the fact that when I was going through high school and college and careers, I've had the fortunate opportunities to have great mentors and people
That's
who
huge.
genuinely care about me. And in fact, one of the things I have to always give recognition for is that I wouldn't be here where I am today except for the fact that I have so many people who are like-minded and genuinely care. I have a group of friends. I tell people I don't really follow a traditional campaign strategy.
Good.
I've had a group of friends that I've been friends with since my children were young. I belovedly call them the Mom Squad, and they're the people that I've known since kindergarten, and they're brutally honest. They would look at my literature and be like, I wouldn't vote for you. But they're also really caring, and one of the things I value is that they really care about the city. They really care about what's happening, because we all live here and have made the investment to live in this community, but they also genuinely care about me.
Exactly.
And that makes a big difference. And so I've had the opportunity and joy of watching even one of my favorite students, and if she's watching this video, I'll have to send
I
her
hope
the
so.
link. But I remember her coming to, I do all kinds of educational booths and participate in the community. So I do the Fremont Education Run for Education every year and have a booth. And there was a young lady who struck me when she was in kindergarten, came by and said, I really like you and I want to help in your campaign. But she was in kindergarten at that time. And you're like, okay, in a few years maybe. But I've watched this young lady grow up, and she's been involved in her schools. And she came to my council meeting when I was on
Beautiful.
city council first, this was about 4 years ago, and said, I want to be president of the United States, but I'll settle for president of Parkmont. And sure enough, she came back to give me the update that she was the president of Parkmont Elementary.
Beautiful.
And she's now in junior high and going on to high school. And to see how she's transitioned and how she's been active in her community, for me, that was something that I always wanted to see. Growing up on the East Coast, I've only ever seen one Asian elected, and that was S.B. Wu at that time. And while I don't think it precludes anyone from representing others, like even for myself when I ran the first time, it's not like you have to be Asian to represent Asian people or have to be any ethnicity. It's the awareness or interest in the culture or to learn about others that makes it a better experience for the community and for yourself. Little things that I've tried is that, things over the years. I was at the Indian Charter Accountants opening, and the Council General was joking with some of the members and saying, oh, you should learn the national anthem well. Your mayor can sing yours. And so, those types of extra efforts, learning greetings or learning cultural customs. When I go visit the mosques, I always wear pants. I know to wear my shoes. I have a headscarf ready.
Yep.
And those are not because that's my faith necessarily, but it's the recognition that I respect their culture and traditions. And so therefore, if I'm part of this community and I want to be understanding of that, I try to embrace that. Things when I was on the school board I'm very proud of are including that we had Sick Awareness Day, and we had a meal served by the community to the entire principals and our school board, just so that we can recognize that. I've had the chance to visit many of the Gurdwaras, the mosques, the temples, the Jewish temples. Coming up in a few weeks will also be the Holocaust Day, and I've been there a couple different times to hear the remembrance. But the more that you get to hear the community, the better it is that you hear in terms of feedback. And another example is right now when it comes to transportation and traffic, we have opened up another BART station, which I'm very pleased to see. It's a beautiful BART station. It's one of the greenest BART stations. It's environmentally friendly. But as you go through this process, sometimes situations come up that you weren't aware of. So during the holiday season, I also visited each and every one of our fire stations. And I think I caught the firefighters off guard sometimes, because I'd show up and I'm like, hi, I'm Mayor May. I brought cupcakes to share and hang out. And so they're all like, oh, okay.
What's wrong? Kind of thing.
But it was a great opportunity. With each station that I went to, I got to hear different stories and different issues. And you can get reports on traffic. You can get reports on studies or issues. But it's very different when you hear from the people who are actually experiencing firsthand the issues. So when I'm out there, I might hear, like when I'm at a health fair, I'll hear about there's a hepatitis A outbreak. So when we had our warming center, we made sure that we offered free flu shots and hepatitis A shots. they were offered to the people coming into the shelter warming center. When I heard about some of the issues with us having to send firefighters down to the warm spring station at the end of the evening because they sweep the BART cars. In the past, we have a lot of social services, and the hospitals and things are in the center of Fremont. So Washington Hospital and Kaiser and all the other social services are around here. Fremont Family Resource Center. But if you're at the end of the line in Warm Springs, that till date is kind of more vacant fields and,
Yeah, it is.
and out there. And so listening to the firefighters are concerned with having to run out there to pick up people in the middle of the night. So then we had to work with BART, and also then made sure that unless people were deliberately trying to go to the end of the line, to make sure that they were exited at the end of the evening off somewhere where they can get more services in Fremont. So those types of things, if you don't go out there, you wouldn't hear. And actually, I was super excited just last week also. We had Life Elder Care Meals on Wheels, and every year we also have the Mayor's Day of Service.
Okay.
And so I like to be hands-on, and so it's
Sounds
nice
like
to
it.
go out to deliver the meal. And my person that was the driver, it was a lot of fun because she was telling me that she lives in Northgate. We happen to every year try to deliver to a different part of Fremont too, because Fremont's 90 square miles and one of the largest cities. But so she and I were driving along, and she was telling me how much she enjoyed the trail that was up there in Northgate Park. And I was saying, you know what, this is going to be highlighted in my State of the City, just by chance. And I was very excited to hear that some residents were using and benefiting from the trails that we had just implemented. And those types of partnerships, having come from being involved in the school board side, that also helps a lot, because when we're looking at town hall meetings or talking to people, it allows me a different perspective. I know right now another issue that's really important for a lot of people is affordable housing.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
huge right now.
everything from, we are unique in the city as one of the cities that's building senior housing. I have 2 teenagers, as you mentioned earlier. I have a 21 and 17-year-old, and my 17-year-old has joked with me and said, "Mom, it's good that you're planning for your own future." And so
They have a
I
room already
appreciate, I
for
appreciate
you.
him touting me as a senior citizen. But it is true that it's 55 plus and 62 for the 1 unit affordable housing, because we were taking federal money for that too. But that's 90 units, and that entire neighborhood will be about 500 units of active living, as well as a new senior center down there near Warm Springs, BART. There's also affordable housing that's near different locations. One of the projects I'm also excited to be involved in May is we have a Habitat for Humanity project. And last year for my birthday, actually the same Mom Squad friends, a lot of my friends and I spent the day for my birthday in the morning digging trenches, and the afternoon nailing boards up there, and at the time top of the scaffolding, which you have
like
to
a
not be
beautiful
afraid
day.
of heights. It was a beautiful day. I get to have the sweat equity into literally building the city. And there's going to be an event on May 1st for Women Leadership Build for Habitat Humanity, encouraging other women to get out and build that day. We have also here in Fremont an RP program.
Beautiful.
And they have a construction and geometry class, and sometimes people are surprised to see some of the best construction and apprenticeship programs are actually the women that are involved in that.
I have 2 tool builds at home. I 100% did that.
So you should come join me then.
I 100% will. Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
What's nice is that you're so hands-on. I don't find that often in people in our society now. But I think that you being so hands-on has made you far more valuable.
I don't know. I think one of it, when I originally ran for school board or any of these offices, is that so often when we have these candidate forums, people would say that I represent or I serve you. And the question for me is that how do you serve me if I've never seen you, or that you don't know the community? And it's true that a city as large as ours is in this role as city council or mayor is supposed to be part-time. I personally, a couple years ago when I got on school board, my mother was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and she's doing great now.
Beautiful. Thank you.
But I ended up quitting my then job and working this full-time. So my former life, I started off as a product manager for a PC company out here. I was a worldwide sales controller for a technology company.
Beautiful.
And then also ran a trade association preventing counterfeiting of IP.
Nice.
And so it's interesting when I go to the business side, I get to bring that too. But because of that, I realize how important it is to understand firsthand, talking to the businesses. Last year I also visited about 50 companies.
Yeah. It's
And
the
when I
human
toured
connection.
it really is. It's so important and valuable. And so thank you for allowing me this opportunity to come and share with your audience too, a little bit about myself and why I think it's important to serve. I would give this one advice to any of the next generation or people who are interested in serving is that you don't have to be elected to get involved, but it really helps if you find something that you have a concern for, a passion for, whether it's music or arts or traffic.
Yeah.
It helps to get involved in the community because you get out so much more of what you put in. And I consider it a real investment. People will ask me, and I saw that you had asked that question, and many people are interested, what do you want to do next? In terms of your next role sometimes.
What do you inspire to do?
Or aspire to do. And for me, I think that one of my favorite role models personally is from Pennsylvania. It's Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked him because he's a man who lived so long ago, but so many of his ideas and values still last today, whether it's the lightning rod, the libraries, or the fire stations. And I would like to be a person who makes a difference in the community. And as far as next roles and stuff, I just like to do a good job, because one of my favorite quotes of his is a politician thinks about their next election, but a statesman thinks about the people. And so I've always believed that if I serve the people, whatever opportunities come up, then hopefully then if that's the right time and the right opportunity, I'll move to that opportunity. Just like I was saying earlier when I was on the school board, I think it's important that parents are the ones involved. And as my kids were growing out of school, I wanted to get somebody who was younger, not necessarily just in terms of age, but also just with children who are at that age, because it brings a different experience if you're actually experiencing that educational system yourself. And my background originally was in business and best practices, and so I felt that with all the changes going on in Fremont, the reason I chose to run at that moment is that we could have had a totally unopposed election, and I wasn't sure that I was going to win at all. But I think that having that dialogue and conversation with the community was important.
Huge.
Because that way allows people the choice. And again, I've told people, a lot of elections will say, "Oh, vote for me, I'm the best." And it's not really my style or determination, because I feel that people have to decide for themselves what's best. I would say that I'm hardworking.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I am
Dedicated.
someone who's dedicated to the community, because I spent 25 years of my life here, and now this year coming on between PTA and this, almost 15 years in public service. But it's something that hopefully encourages others to get involved. And if I can do that, that's something that I would really be happy with, just making that difference to encourage the next generation to make the difference. It doesn't mean it has to be someone younger. It can also mean people like my mother, who after she helped out with my campaigns, she had some downtime, and people were saying she likes to volunteer a lot, so she joined Rotary.
Nice.
And so she helps out with some of the Rotarians. She's not necessarily a leader, but she helps set up, she helps clean up, she helps to volunteer. And that.
So what do you do just for yourself? As just a female? Just you?
Well, one of the things I was telling people that I appreciate that my girlfriends helped me out with some of that. Just last week, I'll give an example, but it was part research and part fun.
Good.
As we went to Instapot class and a cooking class, and a group of my mom friends and I said it was like a giant field trip. We had 3 minivans, and we went up there and we took an Instapot cooking class, and it was just a nice chance to relax, learn about healthy eating, learn about a different trend. And then afterwards we went to eat out at Cheesecake Factory, and I said, I'd like a table for, we were joking, we said, we'd like a table for our family, and they're like looking at us as we're coming in, and they're about 20 moms. And I think he was like, okay, what kind of family is this? And I go, we're a family of just moms who really love and work with each other. And it was just a nice chance to take a break. I also appreciate that my friends drag me out sometimes. And one of the things that I didn't mention is every time I run for office, I'm really humbled because we actually walk the precincts, and that makes a big difference, starting from day one and all the campaigns, going door to door and talking to people and going to events and really getting to know the community. If you show up at someone's door, I think it makes a difference. And people are just surprised. So I have to run for office every few years because I lose about 15 to 20 pounds every time.
Nice. I'll help you. I'll carry care of your paperwork.
So it helps over the years to keep in shape, literally. But it also really, I really enjoy this. Like even things like the Niles, they have the Dias de Muertes, Irvington, or our local Museum of Local History have walking tours of our city. Sometimes it requires us to take a break and get out of the cars. Every other year we also do the Niles Canyon walk and run, bike and run. People can walk through the canyon, bike through there, and run through there.
Very nice.
And to relax, we shut down the entire canyon. It's done every other year. But people really enjoy that. And so we have so many different parks and other recreational opportunities that we hope people will participate in our downtown area in May. The city manager and I will be doing the Burger and Brew Fest challenge.
Uh-oh.
I am not necessarily, in fairness, the best cook, but I can help melt cheese. And so we will be challenging our fire and police in a burger cook-off. And so there's everything like that. And also in our downtown, we are doing more entertainment. We've always had our street eats and our concerts in the park, but we're also doing some more makerspace and night market type of activities.
Very nice.
So everything from a beer garden to ping pong tables and activities, because we feel people would really enjoy getting to know each other a little bit better, and that makes us hopefully a happier place, which we were recognized for.
I know, tell me
as
about
one
that.
of the happiest places in the nation and happiest cities. And I'll be honest, I mean, I am happy because otherwise I wouldn't live here and be in this capacity. But at times it's not always happy, and that's why it's the balance of it. And we work on that constantly, whether it's for public safety or traffic or other areas of issues, to homelessness. But I think that because we do strive as a city to help embrace one another through these challenges, it does make us happier to know that people care. And so it hopefully starts with the top. And hopefully as the mayor, I get to be some of that leadership, along with, certainly, I feel very fortunate that I've got great council members, and we're going to different district elections.
Beautiful.
And so that will be where we're heading in the future in 2018. 7 council members, counting myself, instead of the 5 council members.
Okay, nice.
So
Nice.
I hope people will get involved, listen,
here.
vote,
Yeah.
and really get to know the candidates.
Yeah, and be part of the community.
Yes.
So if you wanted to give Fremont words of wisdom, what would it be?
I think the words of wisdom would be that Fremont is going through a lot of different changes, and that if people are concerned about it, to get involved.
Beautiful.
And hopefully beyond just calling me and registering a complaint, but to get involved in committees, to get involved in your schools, to get involved with emergency preparedness. Because the success of any city, just like our school district over the years, as well as the community, is based off of people making that difference, volunteering, caring about it. It's much more than just talking about it, it's actually taking an active participation. And so I hope people will join me in that.
Yeah, very nice. I'm very impressed with you.
Oh, thank you.
No, in truth, I really am. You really give so much of yourself, and you really are a community builder, and I honor that in you, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At times, to be honest, and I have to thank my family too, my husband and my children, is that it hasn't always been easy. When I first started serving on the school board, my son would say, "Don't go, Mommy, because when you come home, you can't read me bedtime stories, I'll be sleeping." I hope so at 10:30 or 2 a.m. But my husband would bring the kids by, and it was nice sometimes for the public to see that I'm still a mom, because they'd be like, "Good night, Mommy," from the back of the room. And it allowed people to understand that I'm more than just the official that they elected, but I'm also a human being, and I have I have children, I have a parent, and that made me look more holistic. And it allowed my children, though, also the opportunity to see that you can be involved in the community. So on both sides, I'm very appreciative of how much love and understanding and support they've given to me over the years. I wouldn't be, again, here without the support of my family and friends. And then so many community members who, every time that I've run, have really stepped up and helped me make that difference.
Good, I'm glad they have. You're doing a great job.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm privileged to serve, and I look forward to being able to, this is my beginning of my 2nd year.
Beautiful.
So I have 3 more years.
Beautiful.
And I'm hoping to make a big difference, or at least to bring out the best in the community through through these challenging times. There are a lot of discussions right now in the community and federal and state levels that sometimes separate people in terms of partisanship
Right.
and values or other discussions. But one of the things I hope people can learn to do is to agree to respectfully disagree. And that's really important, to have that different lens, to realize that while we don't always agree with one another, that we hopefully are trying to bring the best of our community together.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
For your words of wisdom.
Thanks.
And for your service.
It's a privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you.